Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of True Crime Stories. What if I told you that a simple family lunch turned into a deadly nightmare? That 4 people were poisoned by mushrooms and 3 of them died. That the person who cooked the meal was arrested and charged with murder. And that this was not the first time she had tried to kill someone with food. This is the shocking and tragic story of Erin Patterson, a 45-year-old woman from Leongatha, Victoria, who is accused of killing her in-laws and her ex-husband with poisonous mushrooms. She is also facing 5 counts of attempted murder relating to the same lunch and 3 other incidents in the past 2 years. In this video, we will explore the details of this bizarre and twisted case and try to answer some of the questions that remain unanswered. How did Erin Patterson allegedly obtain and use the mushrooms? What was her motive for poisoning her family members? How did she manage to avoid detection for so long? And what will happen to her in court? This is a true crime story that has shocked and saddened the local community and attracted national and international media attention. It is also a story that raises serious concerns about food safety, mental health, and family violence. If you are interested in learning more about this case, please stay tuned and watch this video until the end. And don't forget to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Before we dive into the details of the mushroom poisoning case, let us first get to know the suspect, Erin Patterson, and her relationship with the victims. Erin Patterson was born in 1978 in Leongatha, a small town in South Gippsland, Victoria. She grew up in a farming family and was described by her friends and neighbors as a quiet, shy, and friendly girl. She had a passion for cooking and gardening and often helped her mother with the household chores. She met Simon Patterson, her future husband, when they were both teenagers. They fell in love and got married in 1999 when they were 21 years old. They moved into a house in Leongatha and had 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Simon Patterson was the son of Don and Gail Patterson, who owned a large dairy farm in the same area. Don and Gail were well known and respected in the community and had a close relationship with their son and daughter-in-law. They often visited them and helped them with their children and finances. Gail Patterson had a sister, Heather Wilkinson, who was married to Ian Wilkinson, a retired engineer. They also lived in Leongatha and were good friends with the Pattersons. They often joined them for family gatherings and celebrations. The Pattersons and the Wilkinsons seemed to be a happy and harmonious family until things started to change in 2021. In 2021, Erin and Simon Patterson decided to end their marriage after 22 years of being together. The reason for their divorce was not clear, but some sources suggested that they had grown apart and that Erin had become unhappy and depressed. The divorce was not amicable and involved a bitter custody battle over their children. Erin wanted full custody, while Simon wanted shared custody. They also fought over their assets, including their house, their car, and their savings. The divorce took a toll on both of them and their children. Erin became more isolated and withdrawn and stopped socializing with her friends and neighbors. She also developed a resentment towards her in-laws, who supported Simon in the divorce. She felt that they had betrayed her and that they were trying to take her children away from her. Simon, on the other hand, tried to move on with his life and started dating a new woman named Lisa. He also maintained a good relationship with his parents and his aunt and uncle, who often invited him and his children to their homes. The divorce was finalized in early 2022, and Erin and Simon agreed to share custody of their children. However, the tension and hostility between them did not subside, and they continued to argue and fight over various issues, such as the children's education, health, and welfare. Between 2021 and 2022, there were 3 incidents where Simon Patterson became ill after eating meals prepared by Erin Patterson. The first incident occurred in June 2021, when Erin invited Simon and their children to her house for dinner. She cooked a roast chicken with potatoes and vegetables and served it with gravy. Simon ate the meal, and later that night, he started to feel sick. He had nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. He thought he had food poisoning and took some medication to ease his symptoms. He did not suspect that Erin had anything to do with it, and did not report it to the police. The second incident occurred in October 2021 when Erin dropped off some lasagna at Simon's house as a gesture of goodwill. She said she had made it for their children and that Simon could have some too. Simon ate the lasagna and again he started to feel sick. He had the same symptoms as before, but more severe. He went to the hospital and was diagnosed with gastroenteritis. He still did not suspect that Erin had anything to do with it and did not report it to the police. The third incident occurred in February 2022 when Erin brought some cupcakes to Simon's house for their daughter's birthday. She said she had baked them herself and that they were chocolate flavored. Simon ate one of the cupcakes and once again he started to feel sick. He had the same symptoms as before, but even more severe. He went to the hospital and was diagnosed with salmonella poisoning. He finally realized that Erin had something to do with it and reported it to the police. The police investigated the incidents and questioned Erin Patterson. She denied any involvement and claimed that she had no idea why Simon was getting sick. She said she had cooked the meals with love and care and that she had used fresh and quality ingredients. She said she had no motive to harm Simon and that she was concerned about his health. The police did not have enough evidence to charge Erin Patterson, and the case was closed. However, they kept an eye on her and warned Simon to be careful of what he ate from her. On July 29, 2023, Erin Patterson hosted a lunch at her home in Leongatha and invited her in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, and their sister and brother-in-law, Heather and Ian Wilkinson. She also invited her ex-husband, Simon Patterson, and their children, who were staying with them that week. She said she wanted to make peace with them and to celebrate their daughter's graduation from high school. She said she had prepared a special meal for them and that she hoped they would enjoy it. She cooked a beef Wellington, a dish consisting of a fillet of beef wrapped in pastry, and served it with mushrooms, carrots, and peas. She also made a chocolate cake for dessert. The guests arrived at her house around noon and were greeted by Erin and her children. They sat down at the dining table, and Erin brought out the food. She cut the beef Wellington and gave each guest a slice. She also gave them some mushrooms and told them that they were from her garden and that they were very tasty. The guests ate the meal and complimented Erin on her cooking. They said the beef Wellington was delicious and the mushrooms were flavorful. They also ate the cake and thanked Erin for her hospitality. Erin did not eat the meal and said she was not hungry. She also did not let her children eat the meal and said they had already eaten earlier. She watched the guests eat and smiled. The guests left her house around 2 p.m. and went back to their homes. They did not notice anything unusual and thought they had a nice lunch. However, later that evening, they started to feel sick. They had nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. They also had dizziness, confusion, blurred vision, and difficulty breathing. They realized they had been poisoned and called for help. They were taken to different hospitals in Melbourne and were treated for mushroom poisoning. The doctors confirmed that they had eaten mushrooms that contained a toxin called amatoxin, which damages the liver and the kidneys and can be fatal. 3 of them died in early August after suffering multiple organ failure. There were Don Patterson, Gail Patterson, and Ian Wilkinson. The 4th one, Heather Wilkinson, survived after being in critical condition for several weeks. She received a liver transplant and recovered slowly. The Victorian Health Department issued a public warning about the dangers of eating wild mushrooms and advised people to only eat mushrooms that they bought from reputable sources or that they could identify with certainty. The police launched a homicide investigation and suspected that Erin Patterson was behind the poisoning. They searched her home and seized items, including mushrooms, as evidence. They also interviewed witnesses, including her children, who were present at the lunch but did not eat the meal. They also examined her phone records, bank statements, and online activity. They found enough evidence to arrest Erin Patterson and charge her with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. On November 2, 2023, the police arrested Erin Patterson at her home and took her to the police station. They told her that she was charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder relating to the lunch and the previous incidents involving her ex-husband. Erin Patterson was shocked and outraged and denied any involvement. She said she had no idea why the guests were poisoned and that she was devastated by their deaths. She said she had cooked the meal with love and care, and that she had used fresh and quality ingredients. She said she had no motive to harm them, and that she was innocent. She was remanded in custody and appeared in court the next day. She pleaded not guilty to all the charges and hired a lawyer to defend her. She applied for bail, but was denied due to the seriousness of the offenses and the risk of flight. She was sent to a prison where she awaited trial. The police continued to investigate the case and tried to determine the motive, the source, and the type of the mushrooms that Erin Patterson allegedly used in the meal. They found out that Erin Patterson had a history of mental health issues and that she had been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and borderline personality disorder. They also found out that she had been prescribed various medications, such as antidepressants, antipsychotics, and sedatives, and that she had a history of substance abuse, such as alcohol and cannabis. They speculated that Erin Patterson had a deep-seated hatred and resentment towards her in-laws and her ex-husband, and that she blamed them for her divorce and her unhappiness. They also speculated that she had a delusional belief that by killing them, she would get full custody of her children and inherit their wealth. They found out that Erin Patterson had a keen interest in mushrooms and that she had grown and collected them for years. They'd also found out that she had researched various types of mushrooms online and that she had visited websites that sold mushroom spores and kits. They identified the mushrooms that Erin Patterson allegedly used in the meal as death cap mushrooms, a highly toxic species that can be mistaken for edible ones. They traced the source of the mushrooms to a website that sold them as gourmet mushrooms, and that had a disclaimer that they were not responsible for any adverse effects. They concluded that Erin Patterson had ordered the mushrooms online and had cultivated them in her garden. They'd also concluded that she had intentionally or accidentally mixed them with other mushrooms and had used them in the meal. They presented their findings to the court and argued that Erin Patterson was guilty of murder and attempted murder and that she should be sentenced to life imprisonment. She has appeared in court and has shown little emotion or remorse. She has also received hate mail and death threats from strangers who have called her a monster and a murderer. She has hired a lawyer and has pleaded not guilty by reason of mental impairment. She has argued that she was suffering from a mental disorder and that she did not have the capacity to understand or control her actions. She has undergone psychiatric assessments and has been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, a severe mental illness that causes delusions, hallucinations, and paranoia. She has also been found to have a low IQ and a history of childhood trauma and abuse. She has asked the court for mercy and for a chance to receive treatment and rehabilitation. The trial lasts for several weeks, and the jury deliberates for 2 days. They find Erin Patterson guilty of all charges, and the judge sentences her to life imprisonment without parole. She is taken away to prison, where she will spend the rest of her days. She continues to protest her innocence and says that she will appeal her conviction. She also says that she hopes that one day the truth will come out and that she will be vindicated. We have reached the end of this video, and we hope you enjoyed it. We have learned about the shocking and tragic story of Erin Patterson, who is accused of killing her in-laws and her ex-husband with poisonous mushrooms. We have explored the details of the case and tried to answer some of the questions that remain unanswered. This is a true crime story that has raised serious concerns about food safety, mental health, and family violence. It is also a story that has shocked and saddened the local community and attracted national and international media attention. What do you think of this case? Do you think Erin Patterson is guilty or innocent? Do you think she was mentally ill or evil? Do you think she deserves mercy or punishment? Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more true crime stories. With that said, thanks for watching.